Kossie Gardner Senior Park, I think, is an important first step, and I can't wait to see it come to full fruition. As part of ULI, I think it's important that we recall and remember that a lot of so-called urban progress came at great expense, and not just the financial one. So it's exciting and important and valuable to see Nashville already taking initial steps to remind folks of what came before and how hopefully we can bring back some sense of that spirit again. And so this park is a very thoughtful first step in trying to engage with the history and the story of the community, but also create a space that's multi-generational. And I commend Metro Park. I commend the neighbors in the area, most importantly, for being thoughtful about saying, let's remember what happened here, but also let's think about how we go from here and not dwell just simply in the past, but try to create something special for the future. And so I'm glad that we had an opportunity to see it, and I hope we get to see it again, especially when the full plan is delivered. And I think the park is an important component from a lifestyle perspective too, right? It's a clear indicator of the value of healthy living, getting outdoors, a safe play area, and just starting that process of allowing public space to be created where it hasn't been before, but also designing that public space to encourage people to be active with one another, to be active physically, to be active in the community, to commune with one another in a great and productive way that hopefully connects them to the past while helping to prepare them for the future. It's great.
Kossie Gardner Senior Park represents, I think, what makes Nashville special in so many ways. It is really the culmination of a partnership across the city, community-wide. It was the coming together of 4 different Metro agencies: Metro Stormwater, Parks, Historic, and Metro Arts, and most importantly, the North Nashville community along Jefferson. This park represents the future, as well as honoring the very rich history along Jefferson Street. Kossie Gardner Senior Park really represents a new gathering place where one did not exist along Jefferson, a very important gathering place for that community. Jefferson Street has a rich, fascinating, important history for Nashville, and really it had no place to gather along that corridor. And Kossie Gardner Senior represents a really important place for the community members to come and gather, play, meet. I think that's what makes it a special place ultimately. The story of Jefferson in Nashville, specifically along the area where Kossie Gardner Senior Park exists today, really is one of what I think we can say were some planning mistakes that represent systemic racism within our community. In the 50s and 60s, during urban renewal, we had the interstate system come through Nashville in many places around the city. Jefferson Street, prior to the interstate, was a thriving, successful neighborhood with successful shops, restaurants, businesses, all locally owned within the African American community. And the interstate came in and divided that neighborhood into 2. And part of what Kossie Gardner Senior was attempting to do was recognize that tragic event, but do it in a way that pointed to a brighter future, that really didn't dwell on that tragic event. It honored it. It told that story, which is really an untold story in Nashville, unfortunately. But we tried to do it in a way that pointed to a brighter future, a new future for Nashville. While we are so excited about Phase 1 and what it offers for the community and what it represents, we're even more excited about Phase 2. A very important component to this design solution was a shade element and a stage element that faced not only inward to the park, but also faced out to Jefferson, because we saw Jefferson as really a public space unto itself. And so that stage, that shade structure will be critically important for the future of this park. It points not only to the park itself, but also to Jefferson, but also to the surrounding parcels. We really see Kossie developing into a central gathering space that has lots of active uses, local uses, and businesses surrounding it that really focus in on the park and use that space as that gathering place. Kossie Gardner Senior Park, I think, represents really innovative land use. This is actually a stormwater vault that Metro Stormwater put in, realizing that that land really could not be developed for anything else. They were creative and innovative and actually reached out to Metro Parks to form this partnership to say, hey, what can we do with this? Can we make this a value for the community? And so I thought that represented our government working at its very best.